Hello dear friends, today we will see the topic that is motional EMF. Now let us see what is this motional EMF. So we can simply say that if EMF is produced due to motion, it is called motional EMF. Now what are the arrangement and the condition required for this motional EMF? First of all, we will see that arrangement and then we will try to derive a mathematical equation for it. So first of all, let us consider a straight conductor moving in a uniform and time independent magnetic field. Here that blue color cross lines are indicating this type of uniform and time independent magnetic field. In figure, it is shows that a rectangular conductor PQRS in which the conductor PQ is free to move. Here it is shown with the red color, dark red color rod. Now the rod PQ is moved towards the left with a constant velocity v as shown in the figure. Now we assume that there is no loss of energy due to friction. So this is an ideal condition. Actually there will be a friction, but we consider that the surface is smooth such that there will be no friction is acting and therefore it is moving without friction, without loss of any energy. Now PQRS forms a closed circuit enclosing an area that changes as PQ moves. Now it is replaced in a uniform magnetic field B, which is perpendicular to the plane of the system. Now if the length RQ, that is given with small x, and RS, that is given with small l, is the magnetic flux enclosed by the loop PQRS given by that phi is equals to B into A. Actually there will be a BA cos theta, but here the direction of area vector and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, so we can say that area vector or the plane is perpendicular to the magnetic field, so the area vector and magnetic field will be in the same direction and therefore that is given as a B into A. Now area vector or area for the given arrangement is given by that area is equals to L into X and therefore phi is equals to B L X. Now we want to find out EMF. So using Faraday's law, we can find out EMF by applying the Faraday's law. So what we can do here we consider that EMF is equals to minus d phi upon dt. Now we put the values. So when we put the values, that is minus d by dt of B L X. Here it is very clear that the magnetic field is constant. You can see that magnetic field is constant and at the same time the length L also remains the constant. So when object or the rod PQ is moving towards the left, only X will decrease. So we can replace that term here, that is minus B into L and then dx upon dt. Now here we have to take care that here dx upon dt will be negative. The answer is clear that it is moving towards the left. This rod is moving towards the left and as it is moving towards the left, the dx upon dt will be negative. So we can say that here, that is minus bl into dx upon dt will be minus of v, and that is blv. So this equation is called the equation of motional EMF. So we can simply say that therefore motional EMF E is equals to BLV. Here it is interesting to see that we have derived this equation without any battery or without any electrical circuit. We have just moved a rod in a uniform magnetic field which is perpendicular to the given plane, and we got this EMF. Here minus V is actually the speed of the conductor PQ, and the induced EMF BLV, which is over here induced, is called motional EMF because we have derived this equation due to the motion of the rod. So thus we can say again that we are able to produce induced EMF by moving a conductor instead of varying the magnetic field also, that is by changing the magnetic flux enclosed by the circuit. So now this is one simple method that how we can produce or induce EMF in the circuit. So this is called motional EMF. We derive the same question in some different manner. So what we will do now, as we have seen earlier, we know that when any charge is kept in a uniform magnetic field and when this charge moves, it will experience force on it. So that force is given by the formula that we know, F is equals to Q into V cross B. Now suppose we consider that the charge Q inside rod PQ, when the rod enters in the uniform magnetic field B and it is moving with velocity V, then the charges inside the rods will experience force. Now we can consider that Lorentz force over here, and we can derive the equation 2 as written above in a same manner for this Lorentz force condition. So now what we will consider that the Lorentz force on this charge is given by Q into V cross B. Here it is clear that velocity and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, and therefore this equation will be written as QVB. Now the charge inside is moving or experiencing force in downward direction. Suppose the length of the rod is given by L, then the work done to bring charge from P to Q is given by force into displacement. Now the magnitude of force that is given and we have derived from the Lorentz force, it is given by QVB into L. But we also know that the EMF is nothing but work done per unit charge as per as chapter number 2. So EMF is work upon length, that is work per unit charge, work per unit charge. We can simply say it is W upon Q. Now when we take this Q in denominator, what we will have, that is BLV. So this is the same equation derivation but using Lorentz force. So this equation gives EMF induced across the rod PQ and is identical to this equation number 2. Here we stress that our presentation is not wholly rigorous, but it does help us to understand the basis of Faraday's law when the conductor is moving in a uniform and time independent magnetic field. On other hand, it is not obvious how an EMF is induced when a conductor is stationary and the magnetic field is changing, that is a fact which Faraday verified by a numerous experiments. In the case of stationary conductor, the force on its charge is given by the overall equation, that combination of Lorentz force plus electric field, and that is given by F is equals to Q into V cross B, that is Q into V cross B plus electric field E. But if object is stationary, that means velocity is 0, then any force that is applicable is only the due to electric field. So any force on the charge must be arise from the electric field, that is capital E. Therefore, to explain the existence of induced EMF or induced current, we must assume that a time varying magnetic field generates an electric field. However, we hasten to add that electric field produced by static charges have properties different from those produced by the time varying magnetic field, and in chapter number 4 we have learned that charges in motion, that is called current, can exert a force or torque on a stationary magnet. Conversely, a bar magnet in motion, that is a changing magnetic field, can exert a force on the stationary charge. So this is fundamental significance of the Faraday's discovery. Electricity and magnetism are related. Hello dear friends, now we will see an illustration number 6.6. Here it is given that a metallic rod of 1 meter length is rotated with a frequency of 50 revolution per second. So we are given here the length of the rod, that is R. Length of the rod, that is R, is 1 meter. Then the frequency is given 50 revolution per second. So here we are provided omega, that is 50 revolution per second. So here the frequency term, when we apply over here, we have also considered that omega is equals to 2 pi f. So this frequency is actually 50 into 2 pi. So here I have to put one more term, that is 50 into, or omega is equals to, as per as equation we can say that this is 2 pi f, that is 2 pi into 50, 2 pi into 50 revolution per second. So we are given that 50 revolution per second. Another thing that is given for the loop, that with one end behind at center and other end at the circumference of the circular metallic ring of radius 1 meter about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to the plane of the ring, that is shown in the figure here. A constant and uniform magnetic field of 1 Tesla parallel to axis is present everywhere. So here the blue line represent this magnetic field, that is B is equals to 1 Tesla is prevailing everywhere. And then we are asked that what is the EMF between the center and the metallic ring. So the EMF produced over here, that we have to find out. So here what we will do, first of all we will consider that as rod is rotated, free electrons in the rod move towards the outer end due to Lorentz force and get distributed over the ring. Thus, the resulting separation of charges produced an EMF across the ends of the rod. So, at the ends of the rods, let us consider from O is the center, to P is a rod. Now this rod is moving in this way, so it is anti-clockwise moving. So when it is moving from here to here, it will moving inside magnetic field. When this object is moving in magnetic field, it will experience Lorentz force, and due to this Lorentz force, the charges inside the rod will experience the force as per as QVB, as we have just discussed. Now due to this, we can say that the negatively charged electron are experiencing force towards the end of the rod which is near the ring, and therefore the electrons are moving towards the ring. Now at a certain value of EMF, there is no more flow of electrons and a steady state is reached. Using this equation, we can say that the magnitude of the EMF generated across a length dr of the rod, that we have considered a small length of the rod as it moves at right angles to the magnetic field, is given by, that is small EMF dE is equals to BV into dr. Now for whole rod and whole arrangement, we can apply the equation in a following manner. So we can here say, therefore integration dE is equals to integration BV dr from 0 to r. This is the arrangement, the length of the rod. Now we know that V is r omega, so we can replace that. So 0 to r, then B, in place of V we will replace r omega and dr as it is. So now B and omega are constant, so we can replace them outside the integration, and considering the integration of r with respect to r, that is r square by 2. So when we put it in the equation, we can say that this is equals to B omega r square by 2 from 0 to r. By putting the limits, that is upper limits minus lower limit, we can say this is B omega r square by 2 minus 0. So the ultimately equation that we have obtained is 1 by 2 B omega into r square, and this is an EMF induced in this arrangement. So we have derived this equation. Now when we put the values, this is the equation that we have derived for the circular moving object. Now just applying the values, we can get this is 1 by 2, magnetic field is given 1 Tesla, omega is 2 pi into 50, and radius of the rod is given, that is 1 meter, so this is 1 meter square. So when we apply all the terms, we get ultimately 157 volt of EMF induced inside this arrangement. So this is your answer. Equation 1 belongs to the equation in a general way, so we have to remember it also, and the value is 157 volt. Hello dear friends, now we will see an example number 6.7, that is illustration. It is given that a wheel with 10 metallic spokes, each 0.5 meter long. So here the length of metallic spoke is 0.5 meter each. Here we consider this is as L from center to the peripheral. Let us say this is R. Long is rotated with a speed of 120 revolution per minute. So it experience, that is 120 revolution per second. Then 120 revolution per minute. So here we are given that frequency is, that is 2 pi f, and here that angular speed is 120 revolution per minute. So we can say that omega is 2 pi f. Here it is in minutes, so it is actually 2 pi 120 revolution per minute. When converted into second, it is divided by 60. So at the calculation point of view, we can say that omega is 2 pi into 2, that is 4 pi radian per second. So it is radian per second. Then what is next? The ring is normal to the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field HE at a place, and that means the HE's value is given, that is 0.4 Gauss. So here we are provided HE, that is nothing but the magnetic field, that is 0.4 Gauss, and we know that 1 Gauss is equal to 10 to the power minus 4 Tesla. So we can say here this is 0.4 into 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla. Now what is the induced EMF between the axis and the rim of the wheel? And not, here we are given that 1 Gauss is equal to 10 to the power minus 4 Tesla. So as we have discussed in earlier case, we can here induce EMF, that E is equals to 1 by 2 B omega R square. So the equation is the same that we have just derived. Equation number 1, that is 1 by 2 B omega R square. So we will apply the same. Here we can say that is 1 by 2 B is given 0.4 into 10 raised to minus 4. Omega is given as 4 pi, and R is 0.5 square. So we try to solve it, and ultimately we get the answer, that is 6.28 into 10 to the power minus 5 volt. So the number of spoke is immaterial in case because the EMF across the spokes are in parallel and therefore it will remain constant for each condition. So here the number of spokes are immaterial to consider, whether it will be a 10, a 20, a 50, whatever, the answer will not change. So this is your example number 6.7.